there, folks. Welcome to the program. This, of course, is Stinchfield, the podcast. We're getting some big news about the Trump transition team and who will not be on it. And this is very, very important because I think this is the first time in American history we have a transition team, providing President Trump wins, which I am very, very confident at this point that he is going to win. We have a transition team that is not going to include Big Pharma. It is not going to include the big ag companies. It's not going to include our food processors in this country. It's going to include people like Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and Tulsi Gabbard and people like that feel strongly about making America healthy again. And you know how much I believe in making America healthy again and how much Energized Health has helped me. Folks, I'm now, I guess it's 70-something days into this process. I'm down 15 pounds, and that happened very early on, by the way. Within the first 3 weeks, I'm down 15 pounds. And then I've maintained my cellular hydration is up, my muscle mass is up, my visceral fat is down. So think about this. All the bad things I'm decreasing, and all the good things I'm increasing. And this is what Energized Health is all about. EnergizedHealth.com. If you want to learn more about cellular hydration, how it can help you, you want to learn more about the way the Energized Health program works, you got to log on and let them get in touch with you. But specifically today, I want to talk about how important something like Energized Health is to America, how important President Trump is to America, and how important Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and Tulsi Gabbard and all of these people are to America. And with that, I want to bring in somebody else who's important to America, my buddy John Jubilee, the founder of Energized Health. John, welcome to the program.
Hey, Grant, honored to be here. And wow, this is exciting. This is exciting what's about to happen with President Trump and a whole new staff.
Isn't it amazing? We're just, a little over a week out now. And I'm going to play a clip from you from Tulsi Gabbard. This is Tulsi Gabbard basically blowing the lid on the deep state and what they're used to. They're not going to get what they're used to now. Here's Tulsi.
One of the things I'm excited about with President Trump winning is because of the people that he's chosen to surround himself with. Mm-hmm. Number one, as Charlie said, there are no lobbyists for Big Pharma and big insurance sitting on the transition team to pick who is going to fill his cabinet. That's a huge difference from any previous administration from either party.
Yeah, they're the biggest lobbyists.
You've got Bobby Kennedy, who is sitting in position and already starting to choose people who recognize how broken our sick care system is and bring about the deeply, the systemic change that we need to see that will actually put our health and well-being first. That's not just about pushing pills on people to make Big Pharma richer, but actually dealing with the root causes of why our country is so sick and how we can improve life for the American people.
Okay. Tulsi's exactly right. One of the reasons, not the only reason, we spend more per capita on healthcare is that we're actively poisoning our kids in what we put in their cereal, in their food, and the corporations are poisoning us. Donald Trump putting Bobby Kennedy into the administration and on the transition team will be one of the greatest steps forward in protecting American health.
All right, so I agree with her on all of it. And we could break this down, John, and talk about some of it. But the first thing she said is surrounding yourself with good people. I don't care whether you're president of the United States or whether you're going to work as a truck driver. You got to surround yourself with good people, and including when it comes to health.
Well, especially when it comes to health. And just a quick encouragement, to all of the people that are watching this podcast. This thing could be turned around in 1 year. This could be turned around in 1 year. This is no different than if you pulled out a recipe, to make an apple pie, and in the recipe, it said, we're going to put some cyanide in there. We're going to put some LASIK we're going to put, 4 or 5 poisons in there. And then all we do is we just cross those off and we say, no, it's illegal to put that in the apple pie. We're going to take that out. So this is what every other country, or not every other, but most other countries, especially the European countries, they have McDonald's in Europe. But do you know McDonald's in Europe is not the same? I lived in Zurich, Switzerland for 2 years. You can eat at McDonald's in Zurich, Switzerland, because there is no nitrates. There is no poison. The French fries are 3 ingredients, so they have the oil, they have salt, and they have potato. It's 3 ingredients. At McDonald's in America, it's like 9 ingredients. because they're adding all the poisons to the food here. Same way with cereal. You know, you can buy healthy cereal in other countries because they outlaw putting the poisons and the dyes and all of the things that make them bright and flashy and make kids want to buy it, and put these addictive substances in the food. This could literally be turned around, Grant, in as simple as 1 year of just implementing the same laws they have internationally in other countries, because they love their people, they protect their people, they don't want to poison and kill their people, so that they feed them into a medical system and into a big pharma system to create trillions of dollars. Easy fix.
Let me ask you, John. So Energized Health, you help so many people through this program. And I've said I didn't really have to change my diet around all that much. I changed a few things around, but it's not a crazy diet. But let me ask you this perspective from in America, the people in America that come to you. Is your job harder? Is it harder for Energized Health to get people back on track because of all the shit, let's just say, that's in our foods, that maybe if we were in another country, would it be quicker than normally here in the United States to get our cellular health back in order?
Well, you know, that's a double-edged sword. So because the really truthful scientific answer is no, it's not harder. It's not harder for us because Energized Health is like a river of living water. So if you had a river of living water running through your backyard, if you walked out, I mean, I almost hate to give this answer, but I'm just giving the truthful answer. But if you took a trash can, out in your backyard to your river every day and you dump the trash in the river, what would happen to it? It gets flushed down the river. It just gets flushed down the river. And the reality is, Grant, even in America, intracellular hydration is like a living river. It's like a river of living water. And so even if you're getting toxins and poisons and stuff dumped into you, even in America, it is going to get flushed out through intracellular hydration. Now it's horrible, and believe me, we were the first ones with Make America Healthy Again. By the way, last January, my wife is the one who came up with Make America Healthy Again. We own that website, so we're happy to partner, with RFK and with Trump. You know, we want to be on this bandwagon to let's make America healthy again. So we can make it way easier for the American people. But as far as Energized Health, the reality is the reason for 27 years, even while people are being poisoned and having all these things, the reason they stay healthy is they do have a river of living water. Once those cells become hydrated, it's like a fountain. And if you take a glass, I'll give people a fun science experiment to do at your house. Mm-hmm. Take a glass of water and fill it up almost all the way. And then literally squirt ketchup in it, and just picture like that ketchup is the poison and toxins that they're putting in your body. Turn your faucet on and just leave it running and set a timer and see how long it takes, even with that, the toxin of the ketchup is going to represent the toxin. And you can put some mustard and some ketchup, whatever you put in there, put it in there and watch what happens as water flows through it. Within a few moments, it is crystal clear. Yeah. It's crystal clear. And that's what Energized Health does inside a human body.
All right. So that's a great example, because I think we've all done that. We've put our dishes in the sink and let the water run. And the next thing you know, it was cloudy. Now it gets clear. And next thing you know, it's the water is clear. Is it in our best interest to cut the proverbial ketchup and mustard from going into our bodies before having to even do that? So if you're flushing with less ketchup, is that better?
Well, of course it's better. Of course it's better to not have to worry about it, especially for children. For goodness sakes, a kid should be able to get up and eat a bowl of cereal, have a quick breakfast without even the thought, or the parents having a thought of, did I just poison my child? Is this red dye going to give my child autism? 40%. So think about this. Line 10 teenagers up. 40% of teenagers today have some type of a mental disorder. 40%. Well, why? Because they've been poisoned since they were, 2 years old. Since they started sticking food in their mouth, they have been poisoned. Like, you cannot, numbers don't lie. You can't deny the numbers. You can't deny the facts. The fact that 40% of every 18-year-old child, is dealing with anxiety or depression or PTSD at 18 years old. Are you kidding me? They should be joyful, fun, carefree, but that's not the case. Why? Because they have all these poisons and toxicity going into their brain, and they can't function how we did 50 years ago.
Yeah. So I guess this explains it. 100% of Democrats have a mental disorder. Maybe it's just they're not eating properly. I don't know. I couldn't help it, John. I couldn't help it. All right. So President Trump has voiced his commitment to this. And look, President Trump is not the pillar of health, but I don't know how he does it. This guy goes. He's like the Energizer Bunny. He never stops. Now, he doesn't drink. He's never used drugs, according to him, which is, a big jump on most Americans, too, by the way, because alcohol can't be good for you, John.
No, alcohol is absolutely, it's a poison. Alcohol is a poison. So, again, it used to be, I don't know who got this going, probably the alcohol industry, telling people, oh, no, it's healthy. It's healthy to, have a glass of wine and, as long as you drink in moderation and all that. Well, all that has absolutely been debunked. So, and look, but I will quickly say to anybody, because I know that most people drink. Most people do drink. That's why President Trump is, he's an exception. But if you are going to drink, then you need intracellular hydration so it can flush those toxins out of your body. Alcohol dehydrates us. Alcohol dehydrates us. It's a dehydrator.
So look, I'm the first to admit it. I've admitted to you, I drink probably 2 Tito's a night. And so I drink. And I've been on this Energized Health program, and I've still seen so much success. I can only imagine what success I'd see if I didn't drink at all. But, man, my hydration is up over 60%. You guys give me the equipment to literally measure this on a daily basis. My hydration is up. My muscle mass is up. My visceral fat is down. My skeletal muscle mass is up. Like, all of these good things are happening for me, and all the bad things are dissipating. And I only have a few more, well, I guess like a week or so left of the program. What do I do after the program is over? Am I just free and clear, or do I got to maintain? How does this work?
Yeah, no, well, first of all, I want to go back to the alcohol thing because, again, because you asked me the question, I have to give the truthful scientific answer, right?
Yeah.
But look, here's the reality. Most of our clients, tens of thousands of clients for 27 years, most of them are like you, Grant. They drink. They do drink in moderation. And the reality is it's the river of living water. Why can they do it and still have all these great results? Because they have the river of living water. If you go pour 2 Tito's a night in your river of living water, guess what? It will just flush it out anyway. So it doesn't mean it's healthy for you, but it does mean you actually can get away with it. You really can.
Yeah.
So, it's the same reason. So whether it's alcohol or whether it's food. So I like my double sausage, double pepperoni pizzas. I like to eat that while I'm watching football. And people say, how can you be eating that when you're a health guy? River of living water.
Yeah.
That's why, because I reset my metabolism. I reset like I'm a teenage kid again. When we were teenagers, we didn't have to think about that stuff.
John,
why? Because we were river of living water.
It is interesting because when I tell people, and my friends see the results, and they're all like, "Oh my gosh, what did you do? Like your face looks thinner, your skin looks cleaner, everything looks great. Oh, you must have cut alcohol. Did you stop drinking? Or are you on a no drink November, no drink October?" So no, it's not. It's Energized Health and this whole process. But again, back to the other question. So when I finish, what do I am I just now good to go for anything I want, or how is this going to work for me without giving away the secrets?
Yeah. So no, that's a great question. So for those that don't know, it's an 88-day protocol. That's a cellular cycle of a human body. So you can actually transform trillions of cells in your body in 88 days and 2 weeks. There's a 2-week foundation phase. Now, when you get done, Grant, I like to give this word picture for people to make it simple. So it's like building a house. So the last 88 days, you've been building your house. Mm-hmm. So once you build a house, if you build a house the right way, Grant, how many times do you have to build it?
Yeah, once.
One time.
Yeah.
You get to build it. And then you move in the house. Now, once you move in the house, do you have to rebuild it? No, you don't have to rebuild a house. It's built. Now, do you have to maintain it? Well, yeah, you got to mow the grass and change the light bulb, but it's just maintenance. Mm-hmm. So, percentage wise, it would be like a 90-10, right? So it's like a 90-10. 90% of the work is building the house. So it's kind of like a 10%, and that might even be an exaggeration, by the way. It might not even be 10%. 5 to 10% is the maintenance phase. Once you get healthy at the cellular level, it takes 5 to 10% of the energy to maintain it for the rest of your life.
All right, let me ask you this question, because as I'm on this program and I'm feeling the best I've ever felt in my life, and literally, folks, I know that John is a sponsor of the program. He comes on, but I wouldn't talk this way unless this was absolutely legit. And you can just go when we started doing this, just look at my face compared to when we're ending this. So that alone should be the proof is in the pudding. It was not a lot of work, and I mean it. It's pretty easy, actually. Right now, I'm pretty good at commitment, so I follow directions well, and John and the coaches give me direction. I'm pretty good at following it, but it was pretty easy. I'm thinking I don't really want to end it. Like, at least the core of what we're doing with how I'm eating my meals and what I'm drinking and how I'm exercising. I don't really want to end it. Do you have to end it? Do people continue? Do you keep going? P90X, we talked about it. I did that. That's supposed to be a 90-day program. I did it for a whole year. What do you say to people who say, you know what, I'm liking the way this is going?
Well, interestingly, a lot of people say to us, even 4 weeks in, they say, oh my gosh, I had no idea it was going to be this easy. Like, you guys made this so simple. I'm doing this the rest of my life. Mm-hmm. So we actually have people that never stop. They never stop because they realize, well, wait a minute, I'm already eating all the foods I love. I'm living a great lifestyle. Like, if it's not broke and it's making me 10 times better than I ever was, why would I ever stop doing that? And so the only advice I give to those people is I say, that's great. That's awesome. You can do that. I say, but can I just give you a couple add-ons? I'd recommend every holiday, eat everything you want. Mm-hmm. Every special party you get invited to, eat everything you want. Because if you're going to really make it your permanent lifestyle, which thousands and tens of thousands of people do, by the way, we just tell them, enjoy the fact that God gave you taste buds. You reset your metabolism, so you deserve it. Mm-hmm. And when you're at some party and somebody says, dude, I can't believe what you're eating there, you go, well, you know what, dude? I reset my metabolism like I was when I was 17, and I can do this when I want to. Right. But it changes your want to, right? Changes your want to, because you feel so great. You don't want to do that all the time, but if you do want to do it, you really can do it.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's good news. And I fully plan on going down the path of continuing what I started. And yes, I'm sure there'll be cheat days, no problem, but overall, man, I feel so good. I don't want to stop. So that's where I am with that. Another guy I feel real good about, of course, is President Trump. Let me play a clip from you, because he seems to be now committed to the health of America with this Make America Healthy Again. Let me play this, John.
We are also going to make America healthy again. The Kamala healthcare plan will make our kids sicker and their diets more toxic. Under the Trump administration, we will get the toxic chemicals out of our food supply, and we will make our children healthy again. We will spend more money on health care than any other nation, but think of that. We do. I don't know if you know, we spend more money by far than any other nation. But we have more chronic health problems also than any nation. More childhood diseases than we did just a generation ago. Millions of Americans are realizing that something is wrong. By getting this fixed, not only will we have healthier families, we will save trillions and trillions of dollars and bring down the cost of health care. With us tonight is the man who's going to help us get it all straightened out, Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
So, John, that's pretty amazing standing ovation for Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who comes from a very Democrat family. They've never actually endorsed a Republican. Nobody in that family ever has. Now he's endorsed President Trump. And Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has the ear of President Trump on some important issues like our health, like free speech, and those kinds of things. I think it's important. I think this is really a watershed moment for us as a nation.
No, it 1,000% is. And so before Robert F. Kennedy Jr. ever mentioned the phrase "Make America Healthy Again," I want to give credit to Tulsi Jubilee. Last January, and you guys can go look all this up. Last January, the website "Make America Healthy Again" was going to a COVID-19 vaccine shot.
Oh, God.
And we bought that website as a noble cause. We don't need that website. We're Energized Health. So we bought it as a noble cause because we just thought this is wrong that such a powerful phrase is going to a COVID-19 vaccine shot. We're just buying it. So obviously it was owned by the CDC. So it was not inexpensive to buy it as a noble cause, but we did. And actually on 2 occasions, I did get to meet RFK and told him, I celebrated. This was even before he started endorsing Trump, by the way. I said, listen, I really like some of the things you say, even though, I'm voting for Trump,
Right.
I told him I'm voting for Trump, but I like your message. So this to me, Grant, is the best of all worlds.
Yeah.
The fact that he swung over, came over to President Trump. Again, this is so encouraging because for those people that, the Bible says, my people perish for lack of knowledge. For those that don't know any better and they're just eating the food that they're just served up, this is like protecting the innocent.
Yeah.
By making these changes and taking these chemicals, people think, well, of course I could go eat the food. They're selling it at the store. How could it have poison in it? They just don't know any better.
Right.
And so for Donald Trump to be willing to take this stand, to lock arms with RFK and make these changes, it is actually going to get easier for all of the United States of America to be healthier. But again, I always encourage everybody, listen, don't depend on anyone else for your health, for your well-being. Look, I haven't had a medical doctor visit in 27 years. You know what I care about the healthcare system? Nothing personally, right? I don't need the healthcare system because when you don't get sick, you don't care. You don't have to care. And that's where I want everyone to be, in a position of power where you don't have to care if they're given good healthcare or bad healthcare, because the best place to be is not to need any healthcare.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting here today, folks, telling you, I was bone on bone in both my knees, no cartilage. They said you need knee replacements. I don't have knee replacements. I have new cartilage. Why? Because that's scientifically possible to regrow your cartilage. Not one medical doctor visit. Why? Because it's possible to never be sick when you're healthy at the cellular level. And you know what? I'm eating those poisons too. You know what? I'm eating some McDonald's and some Chick-fil-A and some Taco Bell. And you know what? I got little kids and they like that stuff. Now, I actually don't worry though, Grant. I really don't. I don't worry about my kids eating it because why? My kids are hydrated at the cellular level.
Yeah.
And so is my wife and I. So we know we can eat all that stuff in moderation because we're the river of living water that's just flowing through there. It's going to flush that stuff out anyway. So that's the best of the best. But I'm excited those guys have partnered together.
Yeah, it is pretty amazing that they have, and what you're talking about is amazing, and how you can live your life, and it is possible to take it back. And in many respects, before I started, I was in good shape. I'd go to my reunions, and I was still a guy that was in. There was like 2 or 3 of us that were in pretty darn good shape. But now, by far, I'm in the best shape, and I feel in the best shape. And some of it you don't even see. When I look at some of these measurements in there, like visceral fat, that stuff that's inside you, you don't see it, but I'm telling you, you can feel it. And the energy level that I have is different now. than ever before. But let me play a clip of Robert F. Kennedy Jr. just to remind people what he's thinking about and what he's saying when he's got the ear of Trump.
Risk analysis is a much greater, much more consequential risk to our country and to the things we value.
You know, that resonates with people. I don't care whether you're Democrat or Republican. When you start to think about how much we spent after 9/11, and every one of those lives was most certainly precious, don't get me wrong. But when you think about the number of kids dying, of adults dying, of all of this stuff, and the comparisons here are pretty insane.
Well, it really is. And I'll just add a little scientific fact to that. So most addiction, whether it's sugar addiction, alcohol addiction, smoking addiction, addictions are 99% tied to cellular dehydration. So when we're dehydrated at the cellular level, we crave things that will overcompensate for our lack of cellular hydration, which makes us feel satiated. We'll go for a quick anything. Again, whether it's alcohol, drugs, cigarettes, marijuana, whatever it is, we'll go for something that will give us the dopamine shot and the satiated feeling that we're supposed to have from our intracellular hydration. So think about that connection, that if just kids today, if they were hydrated at the cellular level and they had that, they would have, just like when you say you feel great and you feel energetic, if a kid felt like that, he is 10 times less likely to ever reach for the opioid or the crack cocaine or all of those things, because he feels satisfied, joyful, energetic, and happy.
Yeah, it totally makes sense. You know, when you think about it, if you're out of shape, you start to get depressed. You look for something that's going to cure that depression. That's a quick fix. You talk about the dopamine rush, all of this stuff. But when you're in shape and you feel good about yourself and you walk with your head up high and all of this, everything, your entire life starts to change. And then the amazing thing is, I don't know if you talk about this a lot or not, but I truly believe this, is good things start to happen to you as well, because the law of attraction, when you're in a positive state, a mental state, positive things start to happen. I don't know how to explain it. Maybe it's a God thing, but I truly believe that happens and good things start happening to you, John.
Grant, for 27 years, we have tens of thousands of people that quantify what you just said. They said, I got a raise at work. No, I got offered a new position. No, I realized I was in the wrong line of work and I completely changed fields and I tripled my income. We have so many of those types of stories of people that realize, oh, well, when I got healthy at the cellular level, my whole world changed. It became a new world. My marriage got better. My relationship with my kids got better. It absolutely is a quantified fact, what you just said.
Yep, amazing. Well, John, I'm so impressed with you and Energized Health. It's been really a godsend to me as far as getting me back on the track that I really wanted to be in. And honestly, it wasn't that much work. It was just fine-tuning a few things, being committed to the program, and here we are, almost finished with it. And again, I can't tell my viewers enough just how great I feel. So with that, a big thank you to you, John, and your wife and Energized Health.
Well, Grant, it's an honor to lock arms with you and to make a difference in the world together. You know, and thank you for being the crusader that you are, brother.
Well, I appreciate that, and I would urge everybody as well to do what I did. Take advantage of the Energized Health program. Just go to energizedhealth.com/grant. Intercellular hydration. Learn about it. It's a great website. Contact them. They'll get right back to you and talk to them about what your life could do when you get on this program and what can happen to your life when you're on this program, and just the sheer feeling you get from a healthy perspective that translates to a mental perspective that translates to an inner soul perspective. And all of it is true with Energized Health. And I mean it, folks. I'm so grateful that I was on this and still am. And I'm going to be doing it for a long time. Not ending after 88 days, that's for sure. All right, folks, we will see you soon. Don't forget, Real America's Voice show every night, Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. I'll see you there. Podcast every day. We'll see you again on this. And we're loving life. Thanks to Energized Health. Again, energizedhealth.com/Grant. Pay them a visit. I promise you, you won't regret it. Stinchfield's Army rolls. We'll see you soon, folks.